Hello everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you this fun orange and coral makeup look that I feel like is perfect for spring and summertime. I like to call it my orange Dreamsicle makeup. To get started, I'm going to be priming my face with the Makeup Forever Hydrating Primer. I've already done my eye cream and moisturizer and all of that, so I'm just going to be spreading this all over my face with my fingers. And because my face is drier than the Sahara Desert right now, I'm just going to spray it down with a little bit of Fix Plus to add a little bit more moisture back into my skin. For foundation, I'm going to be using Studio Fix from MAC, and I'm going to be mixing a little bit of Stila's All Over Liquid Luminizer into it just to give it a little bit more of a glow. I'm dotting that all over my face with my fingers, and I'm going to be using the Real Techniques makeup sponge to blend that in. Always make sure to get it damp first, of course. And I like the combination of using this foundation with the sponge because it is such a full coverage foundation. This helps me make sure that I'm not using too much product and I'm not getting all caked up and whatnot. So I'm going to be highlighting with the MAC highlighting pen in the shade Radiant Rose. This works really well for me because I get a lot of yellowy tones on my eyes, and since this is a pink undertone, that helps to cancel that out. And I'm just going to put that everywhere that I want to brighten on my face, and using the Real Techniques sponge again to blend all that out. This is seriously a bomb.com sponge, and if you don't own it, you need to go out to Ulta and get one. It's half the price of a beauty blender, and I like it way more. Of course, I'm priming my eyes with Painterly Paint Pot from MAC, using my fingers to just blend that all over my lid. And I've been really loving to set it with a little bit of powder, and lately I've been obsessed with Airspun. I just spilt it all over my lap right there. But I'm just going to dust this all over my lid with a fluffy blending brush, and that just really will make a difference when you go in and start blending eyeshadows. There won't be any tackiness left from the primer, and they will blend really smooth. Then I'm just dipping my sponge again into that Airspun powder and setting my under eye concealer. Using the sponge helps it to not get too dry on my under eye. Using my favorite highlighting shade from MAC, Vanilla Eyeshadow, I'm going to put that underneath my brow and in the inner corners of my eyes just to brighten them up a bit. Then I'm going to be going in with Peach Smoothie from Makeup Geek and using a big fluffy blending brush, putting that all through the crease of my eye and a little bit above it. I'm not being super precise right now, I just want to start laying down a little bit of color. I always will put my highest crease color first and using a lighter shade, and that way I have a barrier set up and I know not to put any eyeshadows higher than that original color. Then I'm going in with Chickadee eyeshadow, which is also from Makeup Geek, and I'm using a slightly smaller blending brush to apply this, putting it right below where we put Peach Smoothie, and I'm not going to carry it quite as far into the inner corner as I did with Peach Smoothie. Then I'm taking this reddish brown eyeshadow from the Katvondbeauty Shade Light eyeshadow palette and an even smaller blending brush, and I'm applying that to the outer corner. Keeping this low, I'm trying to keep it pretty much below the crease of the eye and mostly concentrated on that outer corner, but I am going to blend it in a little bit, but not as far as I have with the other shadows so far. Then I'm grabbing a little bit of this dark brown, which is also in the Katvondbeauty Shade Light eye palette, and it's on that warm side, and I'm going to apply that in the outer corner. I just wanted to get it a little bit deeper. I've got some fallout here, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to clean that up here in a minute, but I just want to get a little bit darker, so I'm applying that kind of in the same area as I did with that red brown, but I'm literally not going to blend it in towards the inner corner of my eye very much at all, just keeping it right in the outer corner. To take care of that fallout, I'm going to be pouncing a little bit of the Airspun powder right on top of it and then just brushing it away. It's as easy as that. It's definitely important to have already put down a little bit of that translucent powder first. Just basically, you don't want it to stick into your liquid foundation and make it easy to sweep away. Then I'm going back with the red brown shadow again. I just felt like I couldn't see it quite enough, so I was just building that color up a little bit. And just to re-brighten my lid, I'm taking a white creamy shadow and I'm just going to apply that on the inner half of my lid to brighten that up. Normally I do not show my brows on camera, but because I'm always constantly changing up the way I do them, I decided to just go ahead and show you what I did this day. I'm using the Anastasia Brow Wiz pencil in soft brown. I always line the underbelly, I guess you could say, of my brow first so that I have my shape and arch mapped out. Then I go in and just fill in all my sparse areas and do the top of my arch. My brows are pretty sparse, so I have to do quite a little bit of work, And I also have an extremely unsymmetrical face, and one brow sits up considerably higher, so it's always a struggle for me. Then I took a little bit of a darker brown pencil. This is the Volux Stone, I believe it's called, pencil from MAC, and I just put that just on the outer half of my brow to darken it up. To highlight underneath, I'm using the Cella highlighting pencil, and I'm just going to apply that right on the underneath of my brow and using a small penciled brush to blend it out. Then to make sure all of my little brow hairs stay in place, I'm using the clear brow gel from Anastasia to set them. I don't always do quite as many steps for my brows, but this just happened to be what I felt like doing that day, and I'm always mixing it up. Then I'm going to set my liquid foundation with a little bit of powder, and I'm using the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural Powder from MAC, and just dusting that lightly all over just to kind of set everything and give me a tiny bit of extra coverage. Then using a really small smudge brush, I'm taking that red-brown shadow again and just putting that right on my lower lash line, and then using a slightly bigger pencil brush and taking Chickadee to blend that out. I didn't really want to do a black liner and do something really harsh. I just wanted to bring a little bit of that color down and give me a little bit of definition on the lower lash line. Now I'm taking Hoola bronzer and a tapered blending brush, and I'm just going to buff that in all the areas that I like to bronze. I always start with a slightly lighter bronzer first, and I apply that everywhere that I'm going to want to bronze or contour, and then I will go back in with a darker bronzer and I will do more precise contouring. But something about layering with doing the light bronzer first and then the dark bronzer with more precision gives you that really pretty, glowy, airbrush, sun-kissed look that everyone is trying to achieve. For the darker shade, I'm using Shady Business 2 from Katvondbeauty, and I'm just using the brush that she makes as well, that she launched with her Shade Light Contour Palette. And I'm just contouring in all my normal places: cheekbones, temple. Today I decided to contour my nose a little bit, underneath my bottom lip, and along the jawline. And for blush, I'm going to be using Peaches from MAC, which is perfect for this color scheme we're working with. And I just like to blend that right above where I put my contour and on the apples of my cheeks, blending backwards towards my ear. For my highlight, I'm going to be using Champagne Pop, which is the Becca Jaclyn Hill collabo. And this one, again, I just chose because it worked well with the color scheme. It has more of that golden undertone to it. And so I'm just applying that onto the tops of my cheekbones, on my upper lip, a little bit through the center of my face, on the tops of my brows, just to kind of help them look lifted, and just getting my glow on, basically. Then I'm using the Kat Von D ink liner in Trooper, which is just black. And I'm lining my lashes, and I'm going to do a wing today as well, but I always start by just lining my lashes like normal. Then I will go ahead and map out where my little flick is going to go, and then I just connect it right on back to my normal liner, just like a little triangle shape, and I fill it in. Then I'm throwing on a little bit of mascara. I'm using Extended Play from MAC. This one's awesome because it's sweat and humidity resistant, so it doesn't ever smudge or transfer on me, and I feel like I can build up really good volume and length with this one. For the lip, I was debating between a nude or a bright lip, and of course I went with the bright one because go big or go home, and I was already at home. You feel me? Then I'm just lining my lips with a corally pink lip liner. And I'm going to be applying this Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick from MAC Cosmetics, and it is in the shade Rich and Restless. And with these, you're going to want to apply as thin of a layer as possible. That's just going to be how they will wear the best. You don't want to build up too much product, and you're going to want to go slow and be as careful as possible when applying this, just because it can be a little bit trickier to clean up than your average lipstick, but they wear for a really long time, so that is a plus. Lashes, I'm going to be using Huda Beauty. I don't honestly know how to pronounce it, Huda Beauty, but they are the Samantha No. 7s. And of course I'm using Duo Lash Glue to apply these. I wouldn't say these are beginner lashes, so I would always start with lashes that are a little bit easier to work with, that have a clear band first, and then build up to ones like these just because they're a little bit trickier. Then I always go over my liner one more time once I've applied my lashes to make sure you can't see any lash glue and that the band isn't quite as visible. And the look is complete. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Mwah.